We'd love to tell you what this podcast is about, but the truth is, we don't know. The CW Pod, at home on Iowa Everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is Iowa Everywhere.
All right, guys, let's get after it. This is a fresh look, brand new CW Pod. So I have my own podcast feed there for a long time. It's still going to exist, but we are moving it primarily over here to Iowa Everywhere. We'll keep telling you about it, but I'm hoping to do this as close to weekly as possible now that we are out of the crazy part of the college athletics season, where I'm just going to get after it on a bunch of topics that interest me. I'll have fun guests on here. And we start today with Wrestlemania. It's coming up on Saturday and Sunday. I got my main man, Ted Flint. He hails from Kansas. You may know him from the Twitter. He joins us. We are presented by our friends at Circa Resort and Casino. Just got back from there. They just put out a video from opening day, and the sports book is full, and I'm already having withdrawals from not being there. One of my favorite places in the entire world. And I would encourage all of you to get out there to Las Vegas and visit our friends from Circa, and if not, at least download the Circa Sports Iowa app to do your betting. Hello, Ted. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm thriving. Your voice definitely sounds like you just came off of a Vegas bender. A little bit of a raspy voice there.
Yeah, and honestly, I haven't been home. So this is my really first week home since February.
Wow.
I mean, when you count Big 12 tournament on the road for the NCAA tournament, you come back, head to Vegas for the Sweet 16. So yeah, I'm dead tired. Not just the Vegas bender part, but just, you know how like when you get old like we are?
Yes.
Just traveling in general just wears on you.
Or just everyday life wears on you. Like we do like something just 4 days in a row. I don't know how you do it. And I have Little League baseball season coming on, so I'm gonna be busy now for like the next 8 weeks, just at the fields.
I feel you there. We started this week, man. First practice was on Monday. I literally got home Sunday night. We had our first softball practice on Monday.
So how's your team looking? You gonna take the ship?
I got one girl who's basically like Jenny Finch.
All right.
Except she's not a pitcher, but she's okay. We'll put it in cycling terms. She's Sammy Williams. Truth here. So in our league, it's like first through third graders are all kind of together.
Yeah,
that's a big difference in like maturity of kids. A third grader compared to a small.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9. Right.
Yeah. And this girl was the last one to hit, and I'm just kind of feeling out the team on Monday, right? And the first practice of Little League is always the hardest because you don't know the skill levels. I don't know these kids. I don't know their parents. And I'm kind of you're just rolling the dice and like, because it's scary when you put that kid with that kid to play catch because one of them can just beam it at another and the other one doesn't even know how to catch. And my kid's the one who doesn't know how to catch. So like I'm very cognizant of it. And we've gone through hitting and everything's fine. Again, I'm just throwing a couple of pitches to every kid because I just want to see their skill level for the next practice where we could start to get some things done. And this girl freaking hit a piss rocket and goes about 3 inches from cracking like 4 girls in the face. And it just terrifies me, the amount of anxiety I get from these things. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, you're playing 7, 8, 9, so like some 9-year-olds can really hit that ball. And if you have like a couple of 7-year-olds playing the infield, that ball can get to them real quick.
Yeah. And then parents don't understand like why you always put their kid in the outfield. Well, it's because I'm doing it for their safety. I want everybody to play. I'm the least competitive dude out there as far as the coaches go. And it's just, I don't know. It's a blast, but it's terrifying. Like my anxiety levels just because I don't want anyone to get hurt.
Right. Or be upset. Anyways, this is what they came to the podcast for was us discussing
that's
minor league
this
baseball.
pod is going to be, okay? And you're going to be my pro wrestling guy. So this will be good. We've both really gotten into the AEW. This won't be we will do some AEW down the road. But we really wanted to talk about Wrestlemania, which is coming up this weekend. It's by far the most mainstream draw for pro wrestling every
right.
year. I gotta be honest with you. We'll break down the card a little bit. I'm not crazy about this card in general. I mean, I think I still probably watch WWE more than you do.
Well, I know you do, but I follow along. I follow wrestling podcasts and Twitter accounts. So I know what's happening.
So I want to say one thing first. The Bloodline deal was Sami Zayn at the Royal Rumble. In my opinion, was one of the greatest things WWE has ever done. It was beautiful. Those guys should have gotten an Emmy for it. It was perfect.
I watched that match. It was great.
It was phenomenal. Listen, it takes a lot. I've had two moments with pro wrestling in the last couple months that did that, and it was the MJF Bryan Danielson match as well in AEW. I was just like, that's one of the best matches I've ever seen. And
I made my because it was so late. I made my 11-year-old the next day watch that whole match. He watched it straight through. Didn't even move. All 60 minutes of it.
It was perfect. The Bloodline Sami Zayn angle was one of my favorite things I've ever seen in WWE. I think this entire Bloodline angle that's been going on for years now is the best thing WWE has done, in my opinion, since Punk came back and Cena was the champ, and we didn't really know, there was a little bit of reality mixed in where you're like, oh, well, who's the champion?
Right.
Did Cena know that Punk was going to come out there? He had supposedly quit the company. So I want to give them props because they're trying to wrap this thing up. You can tell, but I don't like the card in general. But we will talk about it.
So I want to before we get in, I want to ask you about that. Do you think, I'm a huge Cody fan. I love Cody. Do you think they screwed up by not having Sammy go against Reigns and be the one that takes it?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what happened for me. And I was like you, so I appreciate Cody for what he is. He's this trailblazer. He's this disruptor. For all the things he did outside of WWE, the guy's like a visionary. How did WWE all of a sudden make me hate him?
Well, wherever he goes, you end up hating him. When he left AEW, everyone was hating him. It's just because he's the one they're pushing. They're the one that
oh my God! They've shoved this thing down my throat so much. They make him come out 30 in the Rumble and he wins. And it's just they've made me hate him. I'm rooting for Roman Reigns, even though I know he's not going to win.
Well, see,
how have they done this?
This is the selfish AEW fan of me. I hope Reigns wins, so that way, people like FTR don't go over there. It's why would I go over there if they couldn't give Cody the belt? Why would I switch ships? If he doesn't win clean on Sunday, I don't know what they do. He needs to win clean. Straight up, he needs to win it, and you might hate it, but that better happen. Or I don't know where they go next. Where do they go next? If Reigns
my buddy
him?
Aaron, who works at Circus Sports, I was talking with him in Vegas last week about this, and he's a smart wrestling fan. Okay, he's much smarter than me. I'm a doofus, and I don't take it nearly as seriously as a lot of you guys, and not in a dorky way. I'm not saying that, but a lot of you guys study it and you watch every week.
Oh yeah, the guy that I do the podcast with, Jason Mitchell, is the same way. I watch it for the stories. He watches it for the matches.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm more like you. Okay, I just want to be entertained type guy. They've made me hate Cody Rhodes, and I don't know what the answer is. I do know that I liked him. I popped really freaking hard last year, even though you knew he was coming back to take on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Right. I respected Cody immensely more for what he did in AEW, and it made me a fan for life of him. And they've made me hate him. They've made me despise the guy. I think he's a dork. I want him to lose.
Well, he is. He's
John Cena, is what my buddy Aaron said. They've turned him into John Cena, and now you've got John Cena endorsing the guy. It's crazy.
Well, Cody's always been a dork. Even back, I said, at AEW, there was a whole Codyverse thing. His segments did not match up with everything else on the show. So Cody's a huge wrestling dork. But that's also why such a large segment of the fan base loves him, because he's them. He knows everything. He knows the ins and outs. That match is going to be really good. I'm going to watch it. That match is going to be really good. But so Reigns wins. Then what happens? in your head.
Cody has to win.
I mean, Vince is back, so Cody doesn't have to do anything. I mean, that Brock match shows you everything you need to know that Vince has his fingers and stuff again.
It is interesting how they didn't break up the Usos. I thought that's the route we were going. I thought we were going to get Uso versus Uso and then Zayn versus Owens. I was for sure that's the route they were going about a month ago, and they didn't do that. So you do see a future for the bloodline here.
Right.
Win or lose. They're not going to go away.
I have seen that, and I get the Usos confused. But one of the Usos is like on the fence, right? So
that's Jay.
So I have seen people say that Jay should be the one that finally beats Roman to like go full circle. I can't see that.
Well, the whole thing got screwed up though because weren't they like planning on The Rock?
Yes,
he was supposed to be there.
Yes,
this year, and he decided like not to, from what I understand.
Yeah, well, you could do Rock versus Reigns without the belt. So like I think at one point I assume Reigns is going to drop the belt before Mania, and then it's just going to be Rock versus Reigns just in a match.
Yeah, because you can't do the whole Rock's the champ thing again.
No.
They tried that, and
it was terrible.
With him and Cena.
He took it off the Punk, didn't he? I think they got off Punk.
No, he did take it off of Punk. You're right, but then him and Cena did their program for like 2 years, and wasn't The Rock the champ?
Yeah, he was a champ for a minute. I just don't think The Rock cares enough to do it anymore. And he has bigger fish.
All this other shit going on.
Too busy tanking the DC movies to care about WrestleMania. So, but
I had read in some dirt sheets that it was because he didn't think he could get in good enough shape, because apparently the last time, which is crazy when you look at the man, but apparently the last time he came back after a long break, he like tore his pec or something, or like something really bad happened and he had to finish the match. I don't know.
I think there's like a whole lot of cardio that takes place in pro wrestling that you don't realize. And I think just like come back and do that. Like Rock might be huge, but like going hard for 15 minutes, I think as hard as they do, it takes a lot.
And to make it look real.
Right.
Because that's like once you're winded, it's a lot harder to,
correct,
fake that stuff.
So, but back to this Cody Reigns thing. So, is that the match you're most looking forward to? Like you should get all these notes. What's your? Are you not ranking the matches?
Yeah, that one definitely. I think anything Bloodline related in WWE is interesting.
So how is that Bloodline tag match not the main event on night one? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, this Cena Austin Theory thing is. In fact, I had planned on. I'm wearing, for those listening on the podcast only, I'm wearing a CM Punk shirt I have, the greatest of all time. But I was contemplating wearing my new Cena shirt, the like 8-bit Nintendo one.
Yeah.
Because we're a Cena family. Cammy loves herself some John Cena. She likes walking around the house.
All kids love John Cena. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. Once I became a dad, I went straight Cena. I was the guy like booing him 10 years ago. Cammy's born. All right, kids, we're putting on our John Cena shirts and we're heading to Wells Fargo Arena. All right, and I went all in on it, and I'm cool with that. This Cena Austin. So this Austin Theory is the United States champion, but he's kind of the new guy Vince loves, right? From what I understand.
Yeah, he got his last name back finally, and he was Vince's guy. He won the Money in the Bank a couple years ago, and like Vince pushed him, and then the crowd didn't take to him. But so now he's going against Cena in this match. But also, I think it's hilarious. Like all week, we were like, that's gonna be the first match. They're gonna open night one with Cena versus Theory because they want to get people in the seats. And then today, like 2 hours ago, they unveil it, and it's the main event.
So is that the actual match order? That thing you sent me?
I assume it's on WWE.com.
That's insane that they wouldn't put Charlotte and Ripley or the tag match.
I mean, I assume it's the match order because the second night has Roman and Cody at the top.
Yeah, I just wondered if they just put those guys at the top just because Cena's the biggest star and they're trying to get people excited to.
We're gonna find out. I read that as a match order.
Well, it's certainly how it looks. I agree with you. But I was just wondering, it's WWE. They could change anything that they want.
Because all week they said Charlotte was going to be the main event versus Bianca, right? So, but Ripley. I had the wrong thing. But that's what I thought. I thought Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley was going to be the main event in that night one. And now apparently it's not. So, I'm intrigued. I'm going to probably have watch it on Saturday night. There's nothing else going on, right? Oh wait, a Final Four, but don't really have anything to root for there. But yeah, like I took that as being the main event, and I can't believe that's the main event because I assume that they're going to book Theory to go over Cena strong to help him out, and I can't imagine that's the main event.
Is there a surprise?
I mean,
It's the only thing I could think of because like nobody gives a shit about this match,
right? I don't get why that's.
And they've done a terrible job of building it up too. They haven't made me care about it at all.
Well, like I said, I think the surprise would have been if it went first, and Theory just beat him like in 5 minutes and it was done. Like just to elevate
Kinda like
him.
that time Sheamus did that to Bryan Danielson.
I remember watching that live. I mean,
They like kicked him and he pinned him in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. Yeah. God, that's been like 12 years ago. We're old.
Yeah, we are old. We are old. Okay, we'll get into some other matches, but this 2-night deal. So I want to make a point. I understand why they do it. Okay, like it's a revenue thing. In those old WrestleMania nights, strung on forever.
Started at 6 and then 11:30.
Yeah, they're really, really, really long. And then and then they'd have those stupid matches where they just shove people out there just to get them on the card, and it got to be very forced. But I also there's something about the one night WrestleMania that I really long for too. Now that we've had these 2-night shows for,
imagine going to watch that live. Like how much would?
Oh, it would suck live. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I meant like the 2-night thing. I get to go back.
I mean, how many people are just going on Sunday but won't go on Saturday? I don't know. I guess as a TV viewer, I prefer the one night thing. What about you?
I agree, but like I said, it's a long night, and AEW has this problem too. Like these pay-per-views last 5.5 hours.
All these shows in AEW is going to fall into this too. Less is more. I don't need to watch wrestling 4 nights a week, 5 nights. I don't need to. Less is more. Right. They already are. Like Rampage is already stupid.
I don't watch Rampage. I don't watch.
Nobody watches it now because we don't need to. They've told us you don't need to watch this show to follow the storylines.
No. And now they're adding another hour. So
to what?
Whoever is the one that pays for Warner Discovery wants another show. Saturday nights early. It sounds like.
Like the old WCW Saturday night thing.
Yep, exactly that.
So
which I also won't watch.
Absolutely no reason to watch that then. Okay, regardless, the 2-night deal, yeah, like I just feel like there's not a lot of depth in this card.
Well,
we'll go through.
Go ahead. I was gonna say the thing with the 2-night thing. I do think the first night is more the fun night. If you're looking at these like card, like the more like less serious matches outside that Bloodline tag match, where you can just you can go in and just watch the matches and enjoy them like that. That tag match with the 4 teams is going to be great. The Becky Lynch, Lita, Trish Stratus, thing. That's going to be a fun match where, you don't need to be invested thoroughly in those storylines to enjoy it, But, where the second night, Cody Rhodes, Roman, you have Edge versus Finn Balor. I guess Brock Lesnar's on the second night, too? I thought that was the first night. Okay, yeah. So, if I had to pick a night, I'm watching the second night. 100%.
Yeah, me too. Edge, Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell be good.
Oh, I forgot that's a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, and he's the Demon. Yeah. The Demon's coming back.
Yeah, the Demon versus Brood Edge, right?
Yeah. Is it?
I think so. That's what they've been teasing, that we're going to get the Edge from the Attitude Era.
I'm there for it. But that match has to go on towards the end of the card, though, right? Because if you're going to have the Demon Finn Balor come back, it has to be nighttime, right? You can't do that match in the daytime.
Oh, remember when they did that one year that Sting came back and it was daytime?
Yeah, or Undertaker a couple of times has come back.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's got to be night out.
So look at this card. You got to put a Hell in a Cell match is going to deliver, but so I feel like you're going to need a cool down match between that and the main event. So maybe you put Gunther, McIntyre, Sheamus there, but which I think is going to be fun. So I love a Haas fight. Give me all the Haas fights. Give me the big guys out there. Just
Lesnar, Omos.
I think I'm really interested for that match because Lesnar does not.
Are they going to squash Lesnar? Or is this a deal where they just build him up some more? Because they did it on Raw last week where it's like, oh, Omos's hands are bigger than Lesnar's. My God.
I've heard this is his swans. There's lots of rumors saying that Lesnar's on like his like retirement tour. Like this is it. Like this.
So he's going to put some young guys over?
Maybe. I just want to see him try to suplex Omos. Has he done it yet on TV?
They tried. He tried on Monday. I watched this when I was eating lunch to prepare for this podcast, and he like couldn't do it. Omos wouldn't let him.
So I want to see how Omos takes a German suplex, right? Like, can he physically take that? You know, that dude's big, right? Or if Lesnar can get him up over his head. Like, I was listening to a podcast on the way here. Like, it's very much, they compared like the Hogan Andre thing, like what Lesnar can do to him. Like, if there's going to be a moment where like the F5, can he get him up for an F5? You know, at this age. And he's gotten Big Show up for an F5, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right?
the key is can Omos do it?
Right. Because he's just been in the game for like a year, right? Omos has like been around for a year or so. Like,
what about this Mysterio match?
I don't know anything about those two besides
this Dominic Mysterio is one entertaining son of a bitch. He's hilarious.
I know he like the fans that come around to him because like when he first showed up, everyone hated him, right? Because he showed up during the COVID era, right? When like
and he doesn't really look like a guy. I mean, it doesn't look like a guy who'd walk into a bar and you'd be like, "Oh, stay away from him," right? He kind of just looks like a normal dude. Right. He's not exactly, but he's funny.
So does Dominic win this match then?
Does Ray
put over his own son?
Let's look at the real world implications here, okay? So Ray's getting put into the Hall of Fame, Rey Mysterio. And they've built up this whole program, and his whole deal is like, I'm not going to wrestle my kid, I'm not going to fight him, whatever. Does Ray really squash his kid at WrestleMania? In real life? I think he puts over Dominic here.
I think he does too.
They shake hands, and Ray's like, "Oh my God, you impressed me so much," and then they hug it out at the end.
I mean, that'd be the feel-good story, or you could go, they do that, and then Dominic kicks him in the gut and does his finisher on him. You know, get ultimate heat, right?
Well, that'd be great too.
You know,
I mean, this Judgment Day's got real heat to it.
Right. So, I'm really interested how they booked that. Now, I forgot that Ray was being in the Hall of Fame. So, you don't make a guy lose on this Hall of Fame weekend, do you? I
don't know, but again, I just the whole thing has been I won't fight my kid. Are you gonna squash your kid? Everybody's already questioning his abilities.
Yeah.
Feels like Dominic wins.
If you're putting me on the record, that's who I got. It makes the most sense. Dominic wins because Ray's on his way out, and he can use this for whatever he wants to for the next how many years. I beat my dad. I smoked him at WrestleMania. That's the kind of guy I am, right? You don't want to mess with me. I can do,
I still think that they messed it up with this Judgment Day when I get it because they were building up Finn Balor because this is a guy who has been kind of swimming in irrelevancy ever since he got hurt. Remember, he was the first pick in their draft. Everybody thought he was the next big thing. I still think Edge is a heel faction leader would have been a great move. To me, Edge's character's a little bit washed up.
Well, he got hurt though, right? Didn't Edge get hurt, and that's why
why they did that? I don't know.
So I mean, yeah, Finn Balor is just they've never known what to do with him. They have this demon thing that comes out and comes and goes every now and again, but they never seem to use it at the right moment, right? To me, they fumbled it, and I definitely think he's winning Saturday, right?
I think so. Generally, in these big stages, the old guys lose. They're trying to push over.
Well, and Edge's contract's up or coming up. I don't know if he's been re-signed. And there's been some smoke on places where there's might be one more Edge and Christian running them, not in WWE. So,
in AEW
or somewhere, like, because like, but I don't know where Edge's contract situation is right now. So, like, but I've definitely seen more than one person mention that there's one where Edge and Christian run somewhere.
he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Like, he doesn't really have a lot more to do there.
So,
And you know that Khan would pay big dollars to get a name like that.
Right. Oh, yeah. Like,
he's worth more to AEW than he is WWE.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and since Triple H has taken over, it looks like 2020 signed a 3-year deal. So, and since Triple H has taken over, there really haven't been any people moving from company to company. Like, so get someone like Edge to come in there would be huge. Especially if you make it a surprise where it's not known. So that's why I got Baylor in this. To be long-winded, that's why I think the Devil's going to win on Sunday night.
All right, we'll get this thing wrapped up. So we'll take Cody and Roman out. Like, that's the match to watch. It's the tag match with the Zayn, Owens, and the Usos, right? I feel like there's got to be more to this. Does Jay turn on his brother? I feel like Zayn and Owens seems pretty secure at this point. I don't think that they have anybody turn on. Maybe it's Owens. Maybe Owens goes heel. I don't know. Feels like there's something going on here.
But where's the other guy at? The Solo. Like, what's he doing?
He doesn't have a match, I don't think.
So then you could have him interfering, and then Jay goes against him, right? Like, stops him from interfering. We're gonna do this right, and then that cost him the match. And then because he's dealing with his brother and Solo and all the shenanigans, and then he turns around and walks into a stunner by Owens, right? And then that's over, and then it's his fault they lost. That's the way you go with it, in my opinion.
Does The Rock show up, even if it's just to fire up the crowd?
Where would you have him show up at?
Lead off a show?
You have him lead off the show, or do you have him lead off the main event? He introduces the main event.
Well, I kind of feel like if you're going to have him there, like, he's got to have something to do with Roman, right, one way or another. Does he interfere?
Man, can you imagine on Twitter if The Rock interferes to either cost Cody or Roman the match? Imagine if it cost Cody the match.
It'd be awesome. And then Roman keeps his streak going.
Oh my God!
Then you set up Cody and The Rock at a later date. We can start building that up for next year.
Now I want to see it happen just to see how everyone would react.
Look at us just fantasy booking this.
Well, I mean, I already told you Cody needs to go over clean, or they screwed this whole thing up. If he doesn't win clean, Crossroads.
But they didn't even the way I look at it, putting him 30 in the Rumble.
Which is
having him, that's not clean. Me as a guy, I'm just yeah, geez, here we go. He's the next guy they're going to shove down our throat for the next 10 years. And he's really not good on the mic.
And that's a conversation that should be had is if Cody wins, the WWE has done such a terrible job of building anyone else up. Who's even his next opponent? Because Reigns needs a break. He's been saying now for months that, at some point he's an extended break. So if Cody wins the title, who do you even put up against him? McIntyre? Does that interest you at all?
No. Not in the slightest. Theory?
That's what I was going to say. If Austin crushes Cena, that's the one, right? Shoot him to the moon.
Dominique Mysterio.
So,
what about Balor?
Yeah, that's another one.
Heel Balor, you got the Judgment Day. Then you can kind of do
against his USA color scheme that Cody always rocks. But
I hate his entrance music. I hate his suits.
I hate his tattoo. His tattoo's
I hate
awful.
Everything about the guy.
His tattoo's awful.
And it drives me crazy. His hair, everything about it. I hate him, and I want to like him. In real life, I think I'd really like this guy.
I love him.
Made me hate him.
He's gonna get the biggest pop of the night. You think? Unless The Rock shows up or Austin.
You know, the one that they're going to have a hard time with is Rhea Ripley because it feels like the crowd likes her, but they keep trying to make her be a heel.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
she wrestled Charlotte, and Charlotte as a face just doesn't really work for me.
No, and Rhea's the champ, right?
No, she won the Royal Rumble.
Okay,
Charlotte's the
so
champ.
she's winning that match. She's beating Charlotte.
Yeah. And, you know, I could just see this be a moment like where people are cheering her, even though she's this gothic-looking heel.
Well, she's part of Judgment Day, so...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and she's going to break up with Dominic or whatever. But, like, to me, like, she's got to get over.
Yeah. Or you, like I said, you said Finn Balor as a heel. Like, you could easily... It wouldn't take much, I think, of those people that are in that Judgment Day stable to twist them to the crowd that cheer for him. You know, like, hold on. Like, but... Oh, you got me thinking about this too much.
The last one we haven't talked about is Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Dude can go.
Logan Paul is like a really good wrestler.
I watched that Saudi Arabia match that he had.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he can go. And he's a big dude too. Like he wins that, right? Paul's gonna win that match.
It's just guys like this who, and even like McAfee, like it's hard for me to like with Logan Paul that he's gonna sign up to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. And Rollins will put anybody over. Like if anyone, I guess that's probably the one that would go after Cody next, right? We were discussing that 5 minutes ago.
That would make a lot of sense.
Rollins has the history there, but like Rollins, if anyone's like needs a legit run of a belt, it's Rollins. He hasn't had one in forever, you know.
And his character right now is terrible. It's horrible. He just laughs all the time,
making fun of another Iowan. I didn't think I was allowed in these spaces anymore.
He I don't know. It's just he needs a good heel run, a heel title run. He's just not a good face.
So yeah, Paul's gonna win that match. That's on Saturday. It's part of the fun card, as I said it. Like that's the night that you can just like kick on and turn any of the matches on. It's gonna be fun, like that 4-way tag with Ricochet and not Braun Strowman. That's a different name now, right?
Yeah,
is he, Braun?
I won't even watch that match. I won't watch that match. I'll turn this thing on about 2 hours after it started, and I'll fast forward to the stuff that I want to see.
After the Final Four, because what time
I'm
going
to be watching the games, and then I'll watch WWE.
It is a crowded wrestling weekend, and then like you said, we have these 2 shows, and we have Ring of Honor show tomorrow night, Friday night, or whenever the heck this gets posted, which is a pay-per-view, which I'm interested in. I wish that was like $10 cheaper. It's $40. If it was $30, I'd probably buy that show. You got Claudio and Eddie Kingston going. So, like, it's a busy weekend. It is the best weekend in the world for wrestling. You know, and all the wrestling companies are humming right now. I think AEW is getting their juice back. Did you watch this?
Yeah, we got a real and then with the WWE sale thing, it just feels like there's real juice.
Yeah, like, which is good. These you don't want to hear about like WWE being good helps AEW, AEW being good helps WWE. Like the better these shows are, the better it is for everybody involved. Even if you're not watching one or the other, like it forces them to be better, make better stories.
And the one thing too that made it so good in the late 90s was you just never knew, like, oh, is this Edge's last match and he's going to go to AEW? Like, that made it more interesting to watch both shows. Like, oh,
a big one is this Wednesday. The FTR putting their if they lose to the Gun Club, they're done. They're quitting. And like with that CM Punk stuff, where they're really good friends with CM Punk, and he, decided to shoot himself in the foot again this week. FTR might just leave AEW.
What Punk do this week?
You really have not? You haven't been plugged at all. So
no, I'm just getting off the road, man. Like I'm catching up. All I've done is I haven't seen any Dynamite, nothing.
So like the last 2 months or so, you've been like seeing like smoke clouds where like them laying track for Punk coming back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this week something happened with Meltzer and he said something. And so like Punk went to Instagram Wednesday or Tuesday and just like called Jericho out, Moxley out, call them all pieces of crap and they're terrible and the whole place is terrible. And like once again, like just threw all the goodwill out, toss it away, which then made Moxley like go on Renee Parquette's podcast and like kind of set the record straight, like what's going on between him and Punk, because Punk was saying how Moxley Like Punk was saying he wasn't cleared medically to wrestle Moxley for the belt like 4 months ago, and that AEW made him do it, and all this shit.
God,
like he literally, like I thought if you had told me a week ago, I'd be like, yeah, Punk's gonna be back in 2-3 months. He's gonna pop out FTR versus the Elite, and it's gonna be great. And then he just pissed it all away again this week. The man cannot get out of his.
Punk's the guy who gets fired from like 5 jobs, and he always complains to his friends about the employer, and he never takes any responsibility at all. It's never his fault. He never has anything to do with it. And he like being a Punk diehard like I am, he's making it really hard these days.
Well, I'm a huge Hangman fan, so like when he like threw Hangman underneath the bus a few months ago, I got really upset because Hangman didn't do anything, in my opinion, out of the line. And like
you're just jealous of Punk, though.
I mean, a little bit, but like I said, I was a Punk fan growing up. That's what got me back in. That pipe bomb, like you said, all that got me back in there.
And it then, absolutely was for me that moment, no doubt.
And he could have been special in AEW. And if he hadn't done this new thing, the money they would have made off FTR and Punk versus Omega and the Bucks would have been millions. Just print the money.
You wonder too with the WWE sale, he's got another run there. If it's not
Saudi Arabia and Vince is in charge again,
yeah,
maybe. But like, I don't think Khan doesn't have to limit his contract anytime soon.
How long is that contract?
It was big, like isn't it at least in there 2-3 years? Like I said,
he's getting old too.
This is where I'm saying, like, this is what you're talking about, like that. You don't know who's going to show up. Like, so like FTR now, who is Punk's best friends, are in a match on Wednesday. If they lose, they quit AEW forever. So like in your head, you're like, well, now are they gone because Punk isn't coming back, right? You don't know.
This isn't some big work, is it?
Oh man, I don't think so. I don't think you put Moxley on AEW's podcast with Renee to have him talk shit if it's a work.
It's one hell of a work.
I know. I mean, anyone but Moxley, I wouldn't believe it. But I don't think Moxley carries water.
So is that worth me downloading that and listening to that podcast?
He basically like said that like what happened was, so they had the squash match, when Moxley squashes Punk. And according to Punk, he wasn't cleared for that match. And didn't like that idea. And now Punk's saying that they forced him to do it. And Moxley's like, I was doing you. Because at that point, apparently Moxley wasn't even under contract this entire summer. Like, he was just doing Khan a favor by wrestling these matches. Because he just came out of rehab and he didn't know if he wanted to do it again. He was like, I didn't want to go on the road again, like, regress back. So he's like helping Punk out, and Punk basically just wouldn't listen to him, is what the gist I got out of it. Because, Punk can't have anyone else's ideas but himself. Right?
He's a pain in the ass. There's no doubt about that.
But there's money to be made. But I just think like now, like after calling Jericho a lying POS and saying Moxley was trying to hurt him, I don't feel like how you can come back to that locker room when those are the two leaders of the locker room, right? And they're not going to work with him now.
All right, brother. Well, this was fun. We will do this again for the next big card. We'll do this somewhat regularly.
Yeah, sure, man.
In this spot. And if you guys are listening and you have any ideas of like quirky stuff you'd like to hear on the pod, go ahead, and I'm going to try and get a lot of like weird stuff on here. I got some friends who are in the ghost business.
I was going to ask what you meant by that. I was intrigued by when you said weird, not the ghost part. I was like wondering where you're going.
Well, I'm going to do normal stuff too. Like, I mean, I'm going to do like normal sports stuff, but I'm going to do like fun, weird stuff. Like
you should do an all night stream from a haunted house. That's what you should.
No, that would be epic.
I'm not going with you though. I don't do ghost.
Afraid?
Don't do ghost.
You think they're real though, right?
Oh, of course. I just don't deal with them.
Yeah, no.
I have this big 2-story house and it's old, and like I had someone over. Yeah, basically someone over here, and they're like, I don't like this room, this doorway. It's a weird feeling. And I'm like, you just need to shut up. Like, don't be putting that in here. Don't be getting that in my head.
Have you ever had an experience, Ted?
Yeah, you want to hear my best experience?
Yeah.
All right. Is this all right. So me and my friend went out when we were in high school to this haunted cemetery down in Southeast Iowa. It's called Mars Hill, and it's since been burnt down. It's a Satanist place.
It got burnt down?
Yeah, like 10, 15 years ago.
Who burned it?
Some punk kids. And
also, like, they weren't supposed to.
No, just some assholes. And like, so like before it was burnt down, we went and messed around. And used to like if you would stop your car on the bridge, your car wouldn't start. And my buddy, like being a jerk, stopped this car on the bridge. And the whole thing, like he's this back, like in 2000, like his was had like a 1980s Cadillac. So like his right window, if it went down, would not go up. No matter what you did, would not go up if it went down. And we're on the bridge and he stops his car and we can't get the car to stop. And I'm cussing at him. And
you couldn't get it to stop?
Start. Couldn't get it to start again. And I am
Nice.
so mad. This whole thing, and the passenger window's down. And I'm mad about this whole situation that he's put me in. And we're there for like 5-10 minutes. We can't get the car started. And finally, we get it to start. And I'm like, you need to put this effing window up now. We need to get out of here. He's like, well, the window doesn't work. I'm like, I don't know it doesn't work, but just put it up. So like, and he hit the button, and the window went up like nothing. So then we drive back to the small town where my car is parked. It's like probably 1:32 in the morning. And we get out to take a leak at this park because that's what you do at 2 in the morning. You're taking it. And we're like sitting there and like his car doors are open and we're taking a leak in this park. And I look up and there's this old woman, all in white in this park, just staring at us. And my friend's like, because he's a jackass, goes, hello, are you a ghost? Are you a spirit? At this woman as I'm trying to like hurry up and leave. And she does not answer us. And she just stares at us. And as we're driving away from the park, she just like turns and just waves at us as we're like driving away from the.
So you didn't even go and talk to her?
Why would we go talk to her?
Because there's this old lady in the park. I would go and see if she's real.
I just left a Satan church. I stopped on the bridge that you're not supposed to stop on. I am not going to go talk to the woman in a white nightgown with hair down to her butt who's not responding back to us. Ain't happening.
You should have taken a picture.
This is 2000 on what?
Did you have a Motorola Razor?
Like I had a Nokia. I might have only had a car phone at this time, a bag phone.
Yeah, 2000. You're right. We didn't have camera phones.
No. Like
so, you absolutely think ghosts are real then?
Oh yeah, don't fuck with them. Screw them. Sorry.
No, you can say fuck.
Either way, I don't deal with ghosts. I don't like people that like talk about ghosts in my big old rant. Like I have like a huge like old White House with a porch. It looks like it's haunted. Don't talk about ghosts in my house. I don't want to deal with them. So you can go. Yeah.
So you and your buddy both saw this.
Yes, we still talk about it. And he was just shouting at her, "Are you a spirit? Are you a ghost?" I mean, and all this stuff. Like just thinking about right now, I get goosebumps. I mean, mind you,
now we have to end the podcast.
Mind you, we had our dicks in our hand the entire time he was yelling at him. So, because we were taking a leak. So, but.
And this woman's watching you take a leak in the park.
We were behind the doors, off to the side. The doors are open. We're standing, shooting off the side of the doors. But yeah.
Oh, so I thought you were just like beside a tree or something.
No, we were parked in the park in the small town I lived by, and like.
And you think this woman followed you from the graveyard?
I don't know. Wasn't gonna find out.
I'm really disappointed that you didn't.
You know how people die. You go talk to ghosts at 2 a.m. in a deserted park. That's how you die.
We're gonna leave it right here.
All right.
He's Ted Flint. He hails from the state of Kansas. Thanks to Circa for sponsoring the CW Pod here on Iowa Everywhere. Later. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Wrestlemania.